I'm with Kent Pyne from Pyne Farms, and behind us we have 20 varieties of apples. A lot of them are heirloom, some of them are brand new varieties. Kent's been good enough to bring all these varieties in. Kent, why do you have so many varieties of apples?
I think that the main reason is because there's a variety of people that like a variety of different flavors, and so I try to meet the needs of everybody.
And so you sell at how many gardeners markets?
This year I sold at 8 each week.
8 each week, and so I don't imagine those were one a day.
Now on Saturdays though we would do about 6.
That had to have been hectic.
Yeah.
So do you find that the same apples are popular at every market?
No, some markets there's some apples that are a little more popular than others. Certain markets I get asked about, like at the downtown Salt Lake market, I get asked a lot about East Coast apples and apples that I know that either don't grow here or no one grows them here. So
it depends on the demographic and the population to sharpen the particular market.
Yep.
On your varieties you carry, are you finding that just as an individual grower, a little family farm, that you're able to make a living at doing this?
Yeah, surprisingly I can make a living. I'll probably never be rich, but I can make enough to make it work.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yep.
We've got some surprises out of them. What did you find on the surprising from the taste tests?
And I thought this would happen. Red Delicious actually was not everyone's favorite, but it actually scored pretty high. And I think that there's a lot of bias towards the Red Delicious because they're used to getting a mealy one at the grocery store. But when it's fresh, it's actually a pretty good apple. So that was kind of a surprise.
And you actually let them ripen on the tree and pick them in their high sugar content,
Yep.
and instead of just picking them because you have an order to fill.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest difference with that variety?
Yeah, so it's not just picked by the color or picked by the size. You pick when they taste good.
So any other surprises?
Well, I think another kind of a cool surprise is this apple's been cut for how long? An hour and a half, probably?
Hour and a half.
And it's not even hardly browned at all.
What was number 5?
Elliott Gold. So
Elliott
this is
Gold.
actually an apple that was discovered in Provo back in, I think, the late 80s. And yeah, I mean, there's two or three that are slow to brown, but this one literally has not even really browned at all. So that's kind of cool to learn that about it. I also learned that people don't have the same flavor likeness as me. Some people absolutely hated what I liked, and I liked what they absolutely hated. So it's fun.
Funny to hear people just say, "What was that?" And then that same apple someone else just really likes. So number 4, what was number 4?
Number 4 is Crunch-A-Bunch.
Crunch-A-Bunch, and that one we had somebody compare to tasting like a lemon, but it was other people's favorites, and it was a little more tart than Granny Smith.
Yeah, it has a lot of a citrus to it, a lot of lemony type of flavor, and if you're not expecting it, it'll wake you up.
It will wake you up. So some of the apples in here are really old heirloom varieties. We had was Roxbury
Russet, I think it was
Roxbury
called.
Russet,
Blue Pearmain.
and Blue Pearmain, and those were both really older apples, but also not people's favorites, but not terrible. And so a lot of times these newer apple varieties, Honeycrisp was probably the overall favorite, But these older varieties aren't as popular anymore sometimes because, for several reasons. They don't store well, or we've got bigger apples or whatever. But it's interesting to see what comes and goes.
Yeah. The apple industry judges apples on, or how well do they look, how well do they hold up, how easy are they to grow, how dark of a red color do they get. So a lot of it is it's almost as if flavor is kind of like number 5 on the list. So
shippability and storability are
Yep.
the number 1 and 2, and flavors down there.
Yeah.
And so you're a niche grower a little bit. You grow most of these varieties and sell at Gardener's Market. So what for your market, what are you doing differently than what the grocery stores do?
So I do focus a lot on varieties that are oftentimes not available at the grocery store. Sometimes you can see them at a grocery store, even like a Braeburn apple. I mean, I see that every once in a while at a grocery store, but it's probably one of the most widely sold apples that I grow. So I sell a lot of those apples. They're really popular. I think growing apples is a lot of fun, and it's nice to see all the different flavors and all the different characteristics of each individual apple. And so this was a fun thing to have people try and see what they liked and what they absolutely hated.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate you bringing all the varieties in. Thank you again.
You bet.